The duo would prove to be quite successful, with them releasing one album and 3 EPs before embarking on a tour to promote a third album. Although I don't know why people would want to see them live, since from what I've been able to find, their performances basically consisted of Darby very poorly attempting to rap and sing, or Garrett just screamed over him. Something happened during this tour, however, that would actually be the beginning of what Darby is best known for now. During a show in Colorado on September 12, 2009, as in right in the middle of the band's performance, the police arrived and dragged Darby off the stage, arresting him. It was later revealed that Darby had been arrested following a report to the police from 17-year-old Taurine Nicole that he had in the parking lot outside the concert venue. This had happened immediately after Darby had attempted the same act on 16-year-old Ariel Klein in his car.
Did you have any idea that this was coming, or?
No, I mean, and honestly, it happened over the course of about 45 seconds, where we were walking along the strip, and suddenly this had happened. I mean, I couldn't even process what was happening as fast as it was happening.
You must have just been in shock.
I was definitely in shock. Looking back on it directly afterwards, I did definitely have some signs that I was probably about to pass out, which, I mean, obviously things wouldn't have gotten better from there, so I'm glad I didn't.
When you say you're about to pass out, was that just because you were in shock from what had happened, what he had done to you?
Yeah, I mean, directly afterwards, I mean, my brain was trying its hardest to process that, but that's not something that it processes well.
What did Darby Vanity say to you after the act?
What he said to me is something I will never forget. I think it scarred me beyond what I could convey here. He said, "That was so good, baby girl. You made me feel so good."
That was so good, baby girl.
Yeah, and I think the part that bothered me the most was that he said, "You made me feel so good."
And you didn't do anything except be there when he forced himself upon you, is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, there was no participation on my part.
Darby was briefly jailed following this, but was bailed out by his father. He was unable to complete the rest of the tour, however, leaving Garrett Ecstasy to finish it on his own. This was not the first time Darby had been accused of sexual assault. In June 2007, 14-year-old Diana Farrell called into a Christian radio show to ask the host, Dawson McAllister, for advice. When McAllister asked what was wrong, she told him about the man who had assaulted her at her home 8 days earlier. After Farrell revealed what had happened, one of the staff members of the radio station called the police. Farrell would explain to the police that she had met Darby through MySpace and that he had come to her house to style her hair for her. After finishing working on her hair, Darby immediately forced himself on her. Farrell's parents didn't press charges under the condition that he cut off contact with their daughter. This incident, along with the two in September 12, 2009, would be far from the last that Darby would be accused of. Following the 2009 tour, Garrett Ecstasy was either fired from the band or left due to not wanting to work with someone like Darby. Either way, he was replaced that same year by 18-year-old Jeremy Bryan Griffiths, who would go by the stage name J. Von Monroe, thus creating the band's most recognizable lineup. I've noticed that Darby always seemed to have a tall, good-looking sideman who contrasted himself, a rather short, overweight, and not particularly good-looking weirdo.